Come on now. What? I just made it all up. The spear is the MacGuffin.
What?
The thing in the movie that everyone's trying to get.
MacGuffins are probably the most common plot devices in media when writing an adventure story. But at the same time, they are kind of an obscure word that most film viewers don't even know, but have probably heard at one point.
I don't know what you are talking about.
I mean, growing up, before I became a film nerd, I just kind of mistook the word for muffin. Maybe that's because I was always hungry and loved food, but whatever. The MacGuffin is essentially your run-of-the-mill special item that the characters of the movie need to find. It moves the plot forward and works as a solid motivator for heroes and villains alike. It's most typical in adventure and fantasy genres, as that is when the characters take off on some grandiose quest to discover something. I mean, once you notice it, you start to realize that it is really everywhere, but because it's so common, most movies do an awful job at incorporating it. It has become one of the laziest ways to jump characters into action, so much so that it has become one of the most easy things to criticize when trying to say a movie is generic. Most of these MacGuffins are boring, repetitive, and do nothing except further the plot and motivate the characters. They're just like a little treasure that you need to find, and that doesn't really do much. And sure, that's the basic idea of what it's supposed to do, but I'm here to argue that there are some that break the mold and do something special. They not only move the plot forward, but the characters too. In this video, I want to take a look at what makes the perfect MacGuffin and go over 3 pretty underrated examples that show this. Before going in depth, let's discover some major features of a MacGuffin. We already discussed it's essentially a special something that gets the plot rolling and acts to motivate the heroes and villains to the actions of the movie. For a step further, it's usually a catalyst for action, meaning that it not only motivates the characters throughout, but jumps them into action off the start of their adventure. This also usually means it's introduced early on to help establish the central conflict and set up the characters and the journeys they will go on. And finally, it isn't necessarily meaningful, rather the pursuit of it is, and that's what drives the plot. So these are all the basics and ones that most average adventure movies tend to have. Some of the best even just have these simple ingredients too. I mean, an examples list can last forever, but some of the most notable ones are things that I think of like the treasure from National Treasure, Davy Jones's chest from Pirates of the Caribbean, the One Ring to rule them all from Lord of the Rings, the Ark of the Covenant from Raiders of the Lost Ark, the Holy Grail from The Last Crusade, the briefcase from Pulp Fiction, the rabbit's foot from Mission Impossible 3, the plutonium cores from Mission Impossible Fallout, the safe from Fast 5, and honestly, most heist movies tends to be like the safe or some kind of random heist thing. The stupid lab from Ant-Man. I mean, holy, I feel like I can just think of any movie in the adventure genre or even the fantasy genre, and it has a MacGuffin. I mean, R2-D2's Death Star plans from A New Hope, the One-Eyed Willy treasure from Goonies. I mean, come on. But I mean, if so many pieces of media use MacGuffins, the plot device is gonna get old. It's gonna get basic, it's gonna get lazy. So let's go a step further and find some components that can make a MacGuffin in a story special and stand out. So we've already discussed all the simple stuff. A normal MacGuffin is an important object, a motivator, a catalyst, and it moves the plot forward. But a great MacGuffin will do something more. It will not only move the plot forward, but the characters and themes as well. It will affect the characters' arcs in the story, their personalities, and their outlooks on life, as well as the general message that is tried to be conveyed to the audience, which brings me to point 2. It causes introspection. This is a small step further than the first point, as introspection makes the characters reflect and evaluate their life. It challenges the characters like nothing else in the movie could, which brings me to point 3. It is so unique that nothing else in the movie can replace it. It should not only be a special something for reasons, but the only special something that any other normal object wouldn't elicit as strong as an impact from our heroes to be engrossing, have them seek action, and eventually develop through character arcs. So these 3 reasons are what most movies are missing. A special treasure is boring, but a special treasure that causes characters to change, develop strong levels of introspection, and is unique to the journey at hand becomes iconic. Now, as we go into some examples, I just want to say that these are not the only ones out there. I mean, the Ark of the Covenant and the One Ring are iconic because they also, for the most part, follow these 3 extra reasons, even if a little subtly. But everyone knows about them, and well, everyone knows about them for a reason. But I want to shed some light on 3 other ones that I think are now more in the modern day and are actually better than these ones that were much older and should be the blueprint for crafting an amazing narrative and perfect MacGuffin. These 3 are the Wishing Star from Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, the Slytherin Locket from Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1, and Rocket's Life or Passkey from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Each one not only holds the basic components and the special components, but also is so clever and different than other MacGuffins that it's unique in their own right. So let's get into it. Let's start with your classic fairy tale adventure MacGuffin that moves the plot forward with a twist: the Wishing Star. Fun fact, this is the MacGuffin that inspired this video in the first place because of how creative it was. Essentially, it is a magic wish that grants the user anything they want. Seems pretty simple and boring on paper, right? But as the characters traverse their journey and reveal the motivations to the audience, things start to get interesting. I mean, let's go over the characters first. We got Puss, who wants more lives to escape death, Kitty, who wants to find someone she trusts, Goldie, who wants a proper family, Jack Horner, who wants the stupidly over-the-top wish of all the magic in the world, and Perito, who doesn't want anything, which is now where the fun begins. As the characters set into motion, they must go through the Dark Forest, which is this magical obstacle blocking the way created by the MacGuffin of the wish and the map leading them there. What makes it interesting is that the forest actually changes the terrain in a specific way for each character to make sure they don't advance and get to the MacGuffin of the wish. Each character wants the wish for some selfish reason and wants to take the easy way out instead of seeing what they got in front of them. This is where step 1 starts to get addressed. The Wishing Star is a device that challenges the characters and the theme. That's why the character of Perito and his wish of, well, no wish at all, is the only terrain that is positive and without difficult challenges if you follow in the themes of the movie.
Not fair. Why does he get the good one?
To go a step further, it starts to cause introspection in each character, challenging the notion of if they even need a wish and what all their insecurities and worst parts of them are. This is most exemplified of Puss's experiences in the Cave of Lost Sorrows or Goldie's in the Cabin of Nostalgic Pines. This movie could have just had the names on the map as funny little ideas, which would have answered reason 1, but having the characters experience tangible interactions with some of these areas to reflect on their life and themes being presented takes it a step further. Puss's cave experience shows him reflecting on the past and his massive ego, how all his past lives were wasted, and speak to him how he's the best and wants to make him stay. But the moment he wants to do this selfless thing and care for Kitty and Perito, they laugh at him and affect his insecurities, calling him Wussy Boots, which is just such a funny burn to me. Meanwhile, Goldie and the bears experience their home, causing them to get sidetracked and also want to stay. It also causes introspection as Goldie starts to think that the family she wants, she already has. See, the point of the map and the wish itself is for the people not to get to it.
Almost like the forest doesn't want anyone to make a wish.
So the map changes to greatest fears, insecurities, and any obstacle that gets the characters to stay and not move forward. It actually kind of reminds me of the Lotus Casino from Percy Jackson, except like way better. It's actually such a brilliant idea and so unique that no other object could produce this level of change in the characters and have them embrace the themes of the movie, which starts to address step 3. I mean, can you imagine the Ark of the Covenant working this well in this movie for the characters and message? No. See, the Wishing Star is tailored to this movie and this set of characters. It's one of the reasons why this is honestly my favorite animated movie of all time. Moving on to a more interesting MacGuffin that doesn't always act like a MacGuffin, adding to its uniqueness, and that is the Slytherin Locket from Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1. So the Locket is one of the 7, or 8 really, Horcruxes that Voldemort created to live forever. Kind of like how there was supposed to be 7 movies, but there was actually 8. Huh. The heroes, in our favorite golden trio of Harry, Ron, and Hermione, want to try and defeat him, and thus are sent on this journey to find these Horcruxes and destroy them. The only problem, they rarely know what they even are, or even how to destroy them. Now, there are a lot of MacGuffins in the Harry Potter series, and there are some fun ones that hit most of the points we talked about. The the Philosopher's Stone, the Goblet of Fire, the Chamber of Secrets. Damn, I'm just listing the titles, aren't I? The Order of the Phoenix. Okay, yeah, maybe not all of them work. And like there being a lot of MacGuffins in the Harry Potter series, there are also a lot of Horcruxes, each being their own MacGuffins. Maybe I should make a video on ranking the Harry Potter MacGuffins one day. Gotta write that down. Even Voldemort goes for finding his own MacGuffin. Villains do got their own journeys like that from time to time. But anyways, the one Harry Potter MacGuffin we will be discussing here, which I think is the best, is the Locket.
Hi.
See, for some reason, the Locket is really the only Horcrux that challenges our characters and addresses the themes of the Harry Potter series. What's more interesting is that our trio easily find it, but even in their possession, it kind of acts like a MacGuffin and something that begins to affect them. See, they still need to destroy it, but as they look for that method, they need to keep the locket with them so that no one steals it. To do so, as they travel, they take turns wearing it and it begins to access their darkest fears and emotions. Essentially, they're walking around the woods aimlessly with the Ring of Sauron attached to them. As they take turns, they begin to get at each other's throats and emotionally hurt each other. The one most affected is Ron, and it's even said because he has the most emotional baggage. The locket preys on Ron's possible loss of loved ones that Harry and Hermione don't have, as well as his insecurity that he is always second to Harry. It starts to break his friendship with the trio and actually succeeds until he comes back and challenges it after finding the sword. It works perfectly to cause introspection in Ron, and if he's up to the task of the Horcrux hunt. It also works against the themes of friendship and togetherness that this series is known for. Finally, it's so unique as this idea of a necklace that the characters have to wear in order for the characters to move and cause that introspection is something that no other MacGuffin could actually do. Now, why the trio doesn't just hold it or put it in Hermione's magic bag, I don't know. Also kind of funny that Jack and Hermione got the same endless bag. But anyways, with that weird plot hole aside, it's still easily the best MacGuffin of the series with how unique of an idea it is, as well as how it challenges the themes and causes character introspection. The last MacGuffin we will be discussing is a bit more of a weird one, and that is the life or key of Rocket in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. This is a bit of a weird MacGuffin as it's kind of a person, but kind of a thing, but also kind of an intangible object at the same time. It's Rocket as a whole, but mainly the Guardians' desire to keep him alive by finding some passkey to his brain. We haven't really discussed this yet, but people can actually be MacGuffins in movies. Think maybe Luke Skywalker in Force Awakens, Elizabeth Swann in the first Pirates of the Caribbean, or Solomon Lane in Mission Impossible Fallout. This one is a lot harder to get done correctly, as this living thing has to be a walking embodiment of the themes, cause changes in introspection in characters, and be the only character to probably cause this all amongst its heroes. Rocket actually works in fulfilling all of these in Guardians Volume 3. Unironically, he's one of the few characters, besides maybe Quill, that holds the Guardians together, making him the perfect choice to have his life be a MacGuffin for the heroes, as it's personal enough to elicit action from all of them. At this point, they're a family who have grown to care for each other over many movies, so Rocket dying challenges that in the theme of family. But even going a step further, Rocket's life challenges character dynamics, actions, and the lessons they have to learn. It forces Peter to wake up from his drunk stupors and address his jumping around women problem to suppress his feelings, forces Nebula and Drax to come to terms with being leaders and parent figures, and even forces Gamora to understand the importance of accepting her past and finding her own family. See, another big theme of the movie is addressing your past, coming to terms with it, and moving forward in a healthy way. All these characters go on journeys that reflect that, and wouldn't have been caused if they weren't seeking to find a way to save Rocket. And James Gunn does something even more clever here, as this journey also forces Rocket to come to terms with his past with the High Evolutionary and challenge his whole "I'm done running" mantra. For a MacGuffin to be a character themselves that challenge the characters of a movie, but also the nature of the character MacGuffin himself, is brilliant and creative. That's how you know this is a unique story. These three MacGuffins represent how creative you can still make adventure stories in this day and age. The fact that each of these three movies are part of pretty large franchises too, and long-running installments in each franchise, that says a lot. Looking at Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, it is the sequel to a spin-off of an existing satirical franchise of Shrek, of a character that was introduced in the second Shrek movie. Deathly Hallows is a literal part 1 of this massive 8-film franchise of Harry Potter, and Guardians 3 is the final installment of a trilogy about an obscure group of characters in an even larger world. And yet, each of the MacGuffins in each movie adds to making the movie stand out and be unique. Each MacGuffin not only fills the criteria we've established, but does something beyond that. The Wishing Star creates constant obstacles for the protagonists that cause introspection and tempts the characters with the idea of if they even need to get the MacGuffin of this all-powerful wish. The Slytherin Locket is this unique evil object that the characters have to not only carry around but wear, and they have to keep safe until they figure out a way to destroy it, all while it destroys and challenges them from within. And Rocket's life serves to challenge all the Guardians, including Rocket himself, as they find a way to save him. Each is special and gives me hope that adventure movies in later years can still do something different to intrigue the audience and bring something new to the table. It gives me hope for Hollywood down the line. Thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed my video about the word MacGuffin and how to make a good MacGuffin. Please check out the rest of my channel as I have been rebranding. Thank you and have a good day. Bye.